something's not working at time. Okay, the problem is now, does this have to be over here? Does this have to be over here? Can I put it over there? Okay, but the problem with that is you can't be in here. Okay. So, oh, that would have been good to know, my love. Okay, how do I? Is it on the screen here? Yeah, it says excellent. It says it's picking me up. Cover this. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Whoa. I'm not sure what that's about. Eee. Mm. I don't know if it shows me if I have people watching or not. Uh, whoop. You asked if you could hear me right. Why would I talk? Can you hear the in-game stuff? Yeah, okay. Let me make sure my weather's off. Friendly mobs need to be off. Hostile mobs need to be off. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, it's getting close. Mhm. All right, looks like it's 7:30. So, welcome to the reading circle. The tea is warm, the night's listening, and tonight's adventure was sparked by one very inspiring person. So settle in, because I have a story for you. Clocking Out, Part 1. A co-author corner original story. Co-author Isaac Nani. Dystopian Surreal. The routine. You wake to the soft hum of the dome's light warming above your bed, the same way they have every morning for as long as you can remember. The glow is gentle, peach-colored, meant to mimic sunrise on Earth. You've never questioned why the sky outside your window never changes, why the light always feels manufactured. It's simply the way mornings work in 3024. The educators say the dome protects everyone from the pollution, and you believe them because believing feels easier than wondering. You sit up slowly, stretching your arms as the air vents release their timed breath of purified oxygen. It smells faintly sweet, like flowers you've only ever seen in your textbooks. Your room is spotless, arranged exactly the way the instructors prefer. Bed tucked tight, desk cleared, workbook placed neatly at the center. You don't remember cleaning it. You don't remember falling asleep. You don't remember much at all about the nights, but that's normal. Everyone clocks out. Everyone wakes up refreshed, empty, ready. You smooth your hair, tie it back the way they taught you, and slip your feet into the soft white shoes waiting by your bed. Today is another day. Posture, etiquette, nurturing. The things they say will make you a perfect mother someday. You don't question that either. It's the life you were born for, the life they tell you you've always had. But as you reach for your workbook, your fingers pause. There, in the margin of the first page, is a tiny scribble. Just one word. Remember. You don't remember writing it. You don't know why it makes your chest tighten. You don't know why it feels like a warning. You blink, and the feeling slips away like a dream dissolving in daylight. You turn the page. You begin your day. 20 minutes. Astra is 20 years old the morning everything begins to feel slightly off. She doesn't know why the number matters, or why it echoes faintly in her mind as she walks the quiet hallway outside her dorm. She has lived her entire life inside the dome, surrounded by soft lights and perfect routines. And yet, today the air feels different, thinner, sharper, as if something inside her is waking up before she's ready. She takes her usual seat in the classroom, folding her hands neatly the way the instructors prefer. The lesson is Foundations of Motherhood, a topic they say is essential for young women like her, healthy, compliant, and destined for the dome's future. Astra copies the diagrams with practiced precision, her handwriting steady, her face calm. But when she turns the page in her workbook, her breath catches. There, in the margin beside a paragraph about nurturing instincts, is a sentence written in her own handwriting. The ink is faint, hurried, almost hidden. Every good mother does this. Astra stares at the words, her pulse fluttering. She doesn't remember writing them. She doesn't even know what this refers to. A strange heaviness settles in her chest, a sadness she can't explain. The instructor's voice continues in its warm, practiced rhythm, but Astra hears none of it. A question rises inside her, uninvited and sharp. Who was my mother? The thought feels dangerous, forbidden. She presses her thumb over the scribble, as if covering it will make the ache disappear. But it doesn't. It lingers. It grows. Astra lies awake long after the dorm lights dim to their soft blue glow. She knows she should already be asleep. The clocking out signal comes at the same time every night, and the system expects every student to be unconscious before it begins. But the ache in her chest won't let her rest. The scribble in her workbook, the strange sadness, the question about her mother, they loop in her mind like a whisper she can't quite hear. She turns onto her side, staring at the faint outline of the ceiling. The air vents release their usual calming mist, the kind that makes her limbs heavy and her thoughts slow. But tonight, the mist feels weaker somehow. Or maybe she's simply too awake to let it take hold. Minutes pass, then more. Astra doesn't count them, but her body feels the wrongness of being awake when she shouldn't be. When the clocking out signal finally hums through the dorm, she's still conscious. 20 minutes past her designated time. The sound vibrates through her bones, warm and soft, like a lullaby meant to erase. Her visions blur at the edges. Her thoughts scatter. Her identity loosens. The wipe takes hold, but something is different. The sadness remains. The question remains. The scribbled words remain. They cling to her mind like threads caught on a nail, refusing to be swept away with the rest. The system doesn't notice. It can't. Astra was only 20 minutes late. A tiny glitch. A sliver of time too small for the monitors to flag. When she wakes the next morning, the dome looks perfect. Her room is spotless. Her bed is made. Her workbook sits neatly on her desk. Everything is exactly as it should be. And yet, Astra feels the faintest tremor of something new. A quiet awareness. A sense that the world around her is too smooth, too polished, too controlled. She doesn't know it yet, but the memories that slip through the wipe, the ones the system failed to recode, are the first cracks in the life she's been taught to accept. Today, she will make her first choice. A small one, a quiet one, but a choice all the same. She will not take her vitamins. Astra moves through the morning routine with the others, but something inside her feels misaligned, like a gear slipping in a machine that's supposed to run silently. The skipped vitamins sit heavy in her drawer, a secret she doesn't fully understand. No one checks. No one notices. The instructors greet her with the same soft smiles, the same warm voices, the same perfect calm. But Astra feels sharper, more awake, more herself, though she doesn't know what that means yet. During posture training, she catches her reflection in the polished wall panel. Her face looks the same, smooth, composed, obedient, but her eyes seem different, brighter, searching, as if they're trying to remember something just beyond reach. The ache behind her eyes pulses again, stronger this time. A flicker of something, a sound maybe, brushes the edge of her mind. A low voice, warm, familiar feeling. She freezes, breath caught in her throat. The room around her blurs for a heartbeat. Then the instructor's hand rests gently on her shoulder. Astra, she says, her tone soft but firm. Stay present. Astra nods, but her pulse is racing. She forces her breathing to steady. She forces her expression to smooth. But inside, the flicker grows. A spark in the dark. A memory trying to claw its way back. She doesn't know it yet, but this is the moment the dome begins to lose its hold on her. Astra's hands tremble slightly as she takes her seat in the next lesson. She hides them beneath the desk, hoping no one notices. The skipped vitamins sit like a secret in her bloodstream, and the world feels sharper because of it. Edges she never saw before, sounds she never paid attention to, the faint hum of the dome lights that suddenly seem too loud. The instructor begins speaking, her voice smooth and warm, but Astra can't focus on the words. The ache behind her eyes pulses again, stronger than yesterday. A pressure builds like something inside her is pushing forward, trying to surface. She closes her eyes for a moment, steadying her breath, and then it happens. A flash, bright, sudden, overwhelming. Astra sees a hand holding hers, not an instructor's hand, not a student's, a larger hand, warm and calloused, fingers curled protectively around her own. She feels movement, someone lifting her, spinning her, laughter echoing in the space that isn't the dome. A sky above her, not peach-colored and artificial, but vast and blue and impossibly real. Her heart lurches. Her breath catches. The memory vanishes as quickly as it came. She opens her eyes disoriented. The classroom is still. The instructor drones on. The other students sit perfectly upright, perfectly calm, perfectly unaware that Astra's world has just cracked open. She presses her palm to her chest, feeling her heartbeat racing beneath her uniform. She doesn't know that hand. She doesn't know that sky. She doesn't know that laughter. And yet, she does. The memory shouldn't exist. The system should have wiped it clean, but the 20-minute glitch left a doorway open, just wide enough for something real to slip through. Astra swallows hard, forcing her breath to steady. She keeps her eyes forward. She keeps her posture perfect. But inside, she is shaking. Something is wrong with the dome. Something is wrong with her memories. Something is wrong with everything she has ever been told. And for the first time in her life, Astra feels afraid. Not of punishment, not of failure, but of the truth pressing against the edges of her mind, begging to be remembered. The perfect sky. Astra steps into the courtyard with the others, the artificial sunlight warming her skin in its usual, soft, predictable way. The dome sky above her is flawless, gradient of peach and gold, the same sky she has seen every day of her life. It never storms, it never dims, it never changes. She has always found comfort in that sameness. But today, something feels wrong. The ache behind her eyes pulses again, sharper than before. She blinks up at the sky, expecting the familiar calm to settle over her. Instead, a thin line of light flickers across the dome's surface, so fast she almost doubts she saw it. A glitch, a seam, a crack in the illusion. She stops walking. The other students continue forward in perfect formation, not noticing the way Astra's breath catches in her throat. She looks again. The sky is perfect, too perfect. The gradient is identical to yesterday's, and the day before, and every day she can remember. Astra's heart begins to race. She tries to steady her breathing, but the memory from earlier, the real sky, the blue one, the one that felt alive, presses against her mind like a hand pushing through a curtain. For a moment, she feels dizzy. The courtyard tilts. The dome hums. Then, another flicker, this time lower, near the horizon. A brief shimmer, like a reflection on glass. Astra's pulse spikes. She glances around, expecting someone else to react, to gasp, to point. But no one sees it. No one even looks up. The students continue their walking exercise, synchronized and serene. The instructors smile their soft, practiced smiles. The dome hums its gentle, artificial hum. Astra stands alone in the middle of the courtyard, staring at a sky that suddenly feels like a lie. She presses a hand to her chest, feeling her heartbeat thudding beneath her uniform. The memory of the real sky, vast, blue, endless, flickers again behind her eyes. And for the first time, Astra wonders if the dome is not protecting her at all. Maybe it is containing her. Astra forces herself to rejoin the walking formation, but her steps feel uneven, her breath too shallow. The dome sky hangs above her like a painted ceiling, flawless and false. She tries to focus on the rhythm of the group, the soft tap of their synchronized footsteps, the gentle hum of the dome's environmental systems. But then she sees it. Another flaw. Near the far edge of the courtyard, a maintenance panel sits, flush against the dome's wall. It has always been there, unnoticed, unimportant. But today, Astra sees a thin trail of dust beneath it. Dust shouldn't exist inside the dome. The air is filtered, the floors are cleaned, every surface is wiped down nightly during clocking out. She slows her pace, eyes narrowing. The dust is real. The panel is slightly ajar. A faint pulsing light leaks from the seam. Astra's heart thuds in her chest. Something behind that panel is malfunctioning. She glances at the instructors. None of them notice. None of them look. Astra steps closer, just enough to see the flicker of blue light inside, the same shade as the sky from her memory, the real sky, the one she shouldn't remember. Her breath catches. Her pulse spikes. The world tilts again. She steps back quickly, rejoining the formation before anyone can question her. But the image stays burned behind her eyes. The dust, the flicker. The dome is breaking. Or maybe it was always broken, and Astra is finally awake enough to see it. The flaw. The man in the memory. Astra sits on the edge of her bunk that night, hands clasped tightly in her lap. The skip vitamins have left her thoughts sharper, louder, harder to ignore. The dome lights dim to their soft blue glow, signaling the approach of clocking out. But Astra doesn't lie down. She doesn't close her eyes. She doesn't want to. Because the memory from earlier, the hand, the warmth, the laughter has returned. She presses her palms to her temples, trying to steady the rush of images. A man, tall, strong, eyes full of warmth, a voice that wraps around her like safety. She knows him. She shouldn't, but she does. A name rises in her mind like a breath she's been holding for years. Orion. Her chest tightens. Her breath stutters. The memory sharpens. Him lifting her, spinning her, sunlight on her face, real sunlight, not the dome's artificial glow. Astra gasps, clutching her chest. She remembers him. She remembers Earth. She remembers love. And then, a final devastating truth hits her. He is here, inside the dome, somewhere close. Somewhere she can reach. Astra stands abruptly, heart pounding. She must find him. She must. Because if she remembers him, he might remember her. And if he remembers her, he might know how to break the system. Stay awake. Astra sits upright in her bunk long after the others have settled beneath their blankets. The dorm lights dim to their soft blue glow, signaling the approach of clocking out. But she doesn't lie down. She can't. Not now. Not after remembering him. Her father, Orion, alive and here. The memory is faint but real. A warmth in her chest, a voice calling her name, a promise whispered against her hair. She clings to it like a lifeline. If she lets the system wipe her again, she might lose him. She might lose everything she's just begun to remember. The vents release their calming mist, the one meant to lull her into sleep. Soft, compliant sleep the dome requires. Astra covers her mouth with her sleeve, heart pounding. The mist tastes sweet, familiar, dangerous. She forces herself to breathe shallowly, blinking against the heaviness settling over her limbs. She must stay awake. She must fight it. She must find him. The hum of the clocking out signal begins, low, warm, hypnotic. It vibrates through her bones, tugging at her thoughts, pulling her toward the soft, empty darkness she's known her whole life. Her vision blurs. Her heartbeat slows. Her body sways. Astra grips the edge of her bunk, nails digging into the wood. No, she whispers, though no sound escapes her lips. The signal grows stronger. Her thoughts begin to unravel. Her memories flicker like dying lights. She forces her eyes open, staring at the faint seam of the dorm door. She imagines her father's hand holding hers. She imagines his voice calling her name. She imagines sunlight, real sunlight, warming her face. The memories anchor her. The signal falters. Her mind sharpens. Astra gasps, pulling herself fully upright. She is awake. Truly awake. For the first time in her life, she has resisted the wipe. Her hands tremble, but her mind is clear. Clearer than it has ever been. She remembers the maintenance panel, the dust, the flicker of blue light, the flaw in the dome. And she knows, with a certainty that feels like destiny, her father is connected to that flaw. He knows how the system works. He knows how to break it. He knows how to recode the reset. Astra stands silent and steady, her heart pounding with purpose. Tonight, she will not sleep. Tonight, she will not forget. Tonight, she begins her search. The open panel. The next morning, Astra walks with the others toward the courtyard. But her eyes aren't on the sky today. They're on the wall. The maintenance panel she saw yesterday, the one with the dust and the flicker, should have been repaired overnight. The dome systems never leave anything out of place. And it has been repaired. at least mostly. The panel sits flush against the wall now, sealed cleanly. No dust in sight. But as Astra steps closer, pretending to adjust her shoe, she notices something the others don't. The latch isn't locked. Her pulse quickens. Maintenance workers never forget to lock a panel. Never. She glances around. The instructors are focused on the formation. The students are staring straight ahead, and the dome hums its perfect hum. Astra slips her fingers beneath the edge of the panel and lifts. It opens slightly, silently. Inside, the wires are neatly reconnected, the diagnostic ports sealed, except for one. A small tablet sits tucked behind the cables, still glowing faintly, still connected to the dome system. Someone forgot it, someone careless, someone tired. Astra's breath catches. She reaches for the tablet. The screen flickers awake, displaying a maintenance interface she doesn't understand at first. But the longer she stares, the more the symbols begin to make sense. The skip vitamins, the missed wipe, the memories leaking through, they've sharpened her mind in ways she can't explain. She scrolls through the menus, environmental controls, airflow distribution, mist dispersal patterns. Her heart pounds. She finds the setting for the nightly mist, the ones that fills the workers' dorms, the one that keeps them compliant, the one that erases their memories. Astra hesitates only for a moment. Then she reroutes it. Not to the workers' dome, not to her dorm, but to the luxury living domes, the billionaires' quarters, the ones who watch from above and never lift a finger. She presses confirm. The tablet hums softly. The change is saved. Astra closes the panel, slipping the tablet into her uniform. No one notices. No one ever notices. That night, the billionaires fall asleep instantly, overwhelmed by the mist meant for the workers. Their minds go blank, their bodies limp, their dreams stolen. But in the workers' dorms, including her father's, something different happens. The mist never comes, but the clocking out tone still does. The workers, conditioned for years, fall asleep anyways. Her father falls asleep too. But without the mist, the reset won't take hold correctly. Astra lies awake in her bunk, clutching the tablet to her chest. Tomorrow night, she will wake him. Tomorrow night, everything changes. The dorm in the dark. Let me take a sip. The next night arrives with a tension Astra can feel in her bones. She clutches the stolen diagnostics tablet beneath her blanket, waiting for the moment the dome lights dim. The billionaires and their luxury domes will fall instantly, drowned in the mist she rerotted. The workers, including her father, will fall asleep too, but only to the clocking out tone. No mist, no reset. Astra breathes slowly, counting the seconds. The lights dim, the vents sigh. The tone begins low, warm, hypnotic. Around her, the other girls collapse into sleep, their bodies going limp in perfect unison. Astra stays upright, jaw clenched, breath shallow. The tone tugs at her mind, but she fights it, anchoring herself with the memory of her father's hand, the one she hasn't held since she was 6. When the last body goes still, Astra slips from her bunk. She powers on the tablet. A map of the workers' dorm glows on the screen. Rows of identical rooms, each marked with a number. She scrolls through them, heart pounding, until she finds it. Orion, dorm 14B. Her breath catches. He is real. He is here. He is alive. Astra moves through the silent hallways, her footsteps soft against the polished floor. The dome hums around her, unaware that one of its perfect daughters is breaking every rule it ever taught her. She reaches the workers' sector, a place she has never been allowed to enter. The door is unguarded. No one expects anyone to be awake. Inside, the dorms are arranged in long, sterile rows. She counts the numbers until she reaches 14B. Her hands tremble as she presses the door panel. It slides open. The room is dim, lit only by the faint blue glow of the emergency strips. A man lays on the lower bunk, broad shoulders, graying hair, a face lined with exhaustion. He looks older than she imagined, older than he should be. The years have carved themselves into him. Astra steps closer, her breath shaking. Dad? The word escapes her in a whisper she doesn't know she still remembered how to say. He doesn't move. The tone has him deeply under. Astra reaches out with trembling fingers and touches his shoulder. Dad, she whispers again, louder this time. Wake up! For a moment, nothing happens. Then his brow furrows. His breath stutters. His eyes flitter open. Confused, unfocused, searching. Astra's heart stops. He looks at her. Really looks. And something in his expression breaks open. A crack of recognition. A flicker of memory fights its way through years of resets. His voice is rough, barely a breath. Astra? Her knees nearly give out. It is the first time he has spoken her name in 14 years. She falls into his arms, and he holds her, not as a stranger, not as a worker, but as a father who has been waiting without knowing he was waiting. The dome hums around them, unaware that its greatest secret has just woken up. The future he was promised. Orion sits on the edge of the bunk, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. Astra watches him quietly, afraid to speak, afraid to break whatever fragile thread is pulling his memories back from the dark. He breathes slowly, shakily. Then he lifts his head. Astra. Her name leaves him like an exhale he's been holding for 14 years. His eyes are wet, his voice trembles, but the memories are coming. I left Earth because they told us. They told us Mars was hope. Astra's chest tightens. He looks past her as if seeing a world that no longer exists. They showed us ads, he whispered. Clean air, open skies, a place where our children could grow up safe. They said if we built the domes, our families would join us. They said we'd be heroes. His hands shake. I believed them. God, Astra, I believed them. Astra steps closer, placing her hand over his. His breath catches. The touch anchors him. I left when you were 6, he says softly. I kissed your forehead and told you I'd bring you home to a better world. I thought I was doing the right thing. Astra swallows hard. She remembers none of this, but she feels it. Orion continues, voice cracking. They worked us nonstop. 4 years, no breaks, no questions. And when they said our families were finally coming, he shakes his head. His jaw tightens. They lied. Astra's pulse quickens. They brought you here, he says, but they didn't bring you to me. They took you straight from the shuttle. They gassed you. They wiped you. They wiped all of us. Astra's breath stutters. I tried to find you, Orion whispers. I fought them. I begged them. I screamed. And then they reset me too. His eyes close. A tear slips down his cheek. When I woke, I didn't remember I had a daughter. I didn't remember Earth. I didn't remember anything except the work they told me to do. Astra's throat tightens painfully. But something stayed, he says, touching his chest. A feeling. An ache. I didn't know why. I didn't know who I was missing. But every night, before the tone took me, I felt it. He looks at her, really looks, and the recognition is no longer a flicker. It is a flame. You, he whispers. It was always you. Astra falls into his arms, and he holds her with a desperation that feels like 14 years collapsing into a single moment. The dome hums around them, unaware that its greatest secret, a father's love, has just broken through the reset. The Code of Truth. Orion sits beside Astra, the diagnostics tablet glowing between them. His hands tremble as he scrolls through the system's hidden layers. Menus he once built, menus he once trusted, menus he now sees were twisted into tools of control. Astra watches him, her breath tight with anticipation. He pauses on a file labeled simply Reset Master Protocol. His jaw clenches. I wrote this, he whispers. Not like this. Not for this. Astra leans closer. What was it supposed to do? Orion swallows hard. It was meant to help people heal, to ease trauma, to calm panic during the transition to Mars. It was never meant to erase lives. He opens the file. Lines of code spill across the screen, cold, clinical, merciless. Astra doesn't understand the symbols, but she feels the weight of them. Orion continues, voice low and shaking. They rewrote everything. They turned my work into a weapon. They used it to wipe us, to control us, to make us forget who we were so we'd never question why we were here. Astra's stomach twists. Why are we here? She asks. Orion looks at her, and the truth in his eyes is devastating. Because Earth is dying, he says, and the corporation is the one who poisoned it. Astra's breath catches. They polluted the air with their factories, their products, their greed. They let the poor suffocate while they built luxury domes for themselves. And when Earth became too toxic for healthy workers, he gestured around them. They brought us here. Astra feels cold. They used us, Orion says. Used our bodies, used our labor, used our children. The healthiest, prettiest, strongest kids were trained for high society. The rest were shaped into workers, obedient, emotionless, autonomous. Astra's chest tightens painfully. And the billionaires? She whispers. Orion's expression hardens. They live in comfort. They profit from Earth's suffering. They sell products made by our hands. They watch us like livestock. Astra's pulse pounds in her ears. Dad, can we stop it? Orion turns back to the tablet. Yes, he says, but not alone. He enters a command, a deep hidden override he wrote years ago, before the corporation twisted his work. The screen flickers. The dome hums. The air seems to vibrate. Astra grips his arm. What did you do? Orion exhales. I broke the reset. Astra's eyes widen. All of it? He nods. And more. The tablet pulses with a soft blue light, the same shade as the real sky Astra remembers. Across the workers' dome, people begin to stir. Eyes flutter open, breaths hitch, hands tremble. Memories flood back, not just their own, but each other's. 14 years of pain, 14 years of fear, 14 years of stolen lives, 14 years of hope buried under the tone. Astra gasps as the wave hits her. 1,000 memories not her own, 1,000 voices, 1,000 truths. She feels the workers' suffering, their confusion, their longing, their rage. She feels her father's heartbreak. She feels her own childhood slipping through her fingers. And then something new. Unity, strength, purpose. The workers rise together, minds linked by shared memory, shared trauma, shared hope. Astra grips her father's hand. What happens now? Orion looks at Astra, and for the first time in 14 years, his eyes are clear. Now, he says, we take back our lives. The air we think is ours. The dome is quiet now, not peaceful quiet, the kind of quiet that comes after a storm, when the world hasn't yet decided what it will become. Astra stands in the courtyard with the workers, watching the artificial sky flicker and fade. The systems that once controlled their every breath are shutting down one by one, their hums dying like old machines finally allowed to rest. Orion has already left for the shuttle bay. Earth is waiting for him, broken, poisoned, desperate. But he carries the knowledge to fix it, to filter the air, to give the planet back a sky that belongs to everyone, not just the wealthy few. Astra closes her eyes and imagines him stepping under Earth's soil again, breathing its ruined air, promising to make it whole. She imagines the world waking up to the truth he sent, the broadcasts, the evidence, the names of those who profited from suffering. She imagines change, but hope is never simple, never clean, never guaranteed. The workers around her shift uneasily, their memories still settling into place. 14 years of pain, 14 years of stolen lives, 14 years of someone else's choices pressed into their minds. They share everything now, the fear, the rage, the grief, the determination. Astra breathes in. The air tastes different, real, unfiltered, hers. For the first time, she knows who she is. But as she looks up at the cracked dome, a thought curls through her mind, soft, cold, and sharp enough to draw blood. How many people on Earth still live inside their own domes? Not made of glass, not built by corporations, but shaped by routine, by screens, by noise, by comfort, by the quiet hum of a life that asks nothing and gives nothing back. How many people sleep through their days without ever questioning the system that shaped them? How many forget themselves a little more each morning? How many follow the tone without realizing it's there? Astra opens her eyes. The dome is falling apart. The workers are waking. Her father is fighting for a world that forgot itself. But Earth? Earth is full of people who don't even know they're dreaming. Astra steps forward, placing her hand against the cracked wall. The surface is cold, unforgiving, honest. Her voice is barely a whisper, but it carries through the empty courtyard like a warning. Are you clocking out? The question hangs in the air for the workers, for the billionaires, for Earth, for anyone who has ever lived a life on autopilot. A question with no easy answer. A question that lingers long after the story ends. A question that belongs to the reader now. Is your identity your own? Or are you awake? Or are you clocking out too? The dome goes dark, and the book closes on a breath that feels like a beginning and a warning. Are you clocking out? The end. There we go. I hope you guys liked it. Wow, 9 people watching. That's awesome. That's super awesome. JJ, Riverman, good evening. Good evening. Luz, good evening. Trashly, hi. Highlight. That's cute. More from Luz, Nani. Nani says hello. Hello. Hi, guys. I hope you liked the story. If anybody wants to comment, you're welcome to comment on the story, what you got from it, how it made you feel. If not, we'll end the stream, but we can still hang out and talk somewhere else. I love this story. This story was gamer tag Isaac Nani. Very, very special to me. So, all right. Well, we're right at 43 minutes. So it took me a little bit longer than expected, but also had the technical difficulties in the beginning. So thank you everyone for coming. I really hope that you enjoyed the story, and never forget, stay creative, stay curious, and always trust your toots.